Now, first the politics, now the optics, because Donald Trump is due to visit the border with Mexico with the government shut down now in its 19th day. President Trump has demanded more than $5 billion to build a wall, but Democrats who control the House of Representatives have refused to support the funding. A meeting between leading Democrats and the president ended abruptly on Wednesday, with both sides blaming each other. Well, just in the last hour or so before boarding the plane heading towards Texas, Donald Trump said he was likely to declare a national emergency in order to secure money for the wall.
I have the absolute right to declare a national emergency. The lawyers have so advised me. I'm not prepared to do that yet, but if I have to, I will. I have no doubt about it, I will. I have the absolute right to declare. This was passed by Congress. So when you say it wasn't passed by Congress, it was. Other presidents have used it, some fairly often. I have the absolute right to declare a national emergency. I haven't done it yet. I may do it. If this doesn't work out, probably I will do it. I would almost say definitely.
Well, let's head to the border because our correspondent Gary O'Donoghue is there for us. And Gary, what did you make of those comments specifically about whether he will actually use these emergency powers? Because he's hinted at it before, but it seems to be edging ever closer.
Yeah, I think the president thinks he's got the absolute right, doesn't he, to use those powers. And he thinks that if the Democrats don't compromise, it will be inevitable that he will. And there's some political logic to that as an option for him, because he could take those powers, he could appropriate some money, we think maybe $2.5 billion from the defence budget, start getting some planning, construction underway down here at the border. It would end up in the courts, sure, but that would take a long time. He would hope that the whole process wouldn't get injuncted, I guess, which would be a blow for him. But in the meantime, if he does that, what he could also do is sign the bills, the appropriation bills, the spending bills, the money bills, that get the government back open so that those 800,000 federal employees could start getting paid. They miss a paycheck tomorrow, Matthew, don't forget. And come Saturday, that will mark the longest shutdown in US government history. So there are all sorts of reasons why he might want, as the Americans say, an off-ramp at this stage, and the national emergency does give him that off-ramp.
Now, Gary, there were extended comments. We played just one of the comments as he headed for the jet. We're now seeing him actually on board. He's on his way towards you. But let me read out one of the quotes he said, because he was asked about funding of this border wall. And he said, when during the campaign I would say Mexico is going to pay for it, obviously I never said this. I never meant they're going to write out a cheque. True or untrue?
It's a lie. I mean, the tricky thing here is that, you know, I never said this. What does he mean by the this? Does it mean they wouldn't fund it or wouldn't write the cheque? But he was very clear that Mexico would pay for the wall. He said it time after time after time after time. He's repeated it multiple times since. That is, if you're an American voter, there's one thing you'd be no doubt about, that Mexico was going to pay for this wall. Now, his current explanation is that the Mexicans will pay for it through the new version of NAFTA, the US-Mexico-Canada agreement. But here we are, him, in a sense, rewriting history. Matthew, there were some other extraordinary comments as well. He said, for example, before he got on the helicopter there, he said, and it's worth pondering this, he said that the Chinese government, this is a foreign power, bear in mind, a foreign power that America believes is trying to steal its secrets and trying to heavy it over on trade and all sorts of areas. He said this foreign power was more honourable than Democrats who are leading in Congress. Extraordinary thing for him to assert at this point, I think, for an American president to say something like that. So these things keep on coming. The temperature is raised each and every time. And I think we have to, in many ways, try and just analyse these one at a time and try and not let them slip by, I guess.
All right, Gary O'Donoghue, more from you later as we go through the programme and the President arrives. Just as Gary was talking, actually, I've been sent a copy of the memo, actually, that Donald Trump sent exactly on this during the campaign. It says, from Donald Trump, make America great again. The key sentence here, when he says in those comments a little earlier that I never said they'd have to write out a cheque, I'll read you just one line: make a one-time payment of between $5 and $10 billion to ensure that the $24 billion continues to flow into their country year after year. And that, of course, is a memo sent by Donald Trump, bearing out exactly what Gary O'Donoghue was saying about the comments that we heard today not being accurate.